Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the village. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you taking a little bit of time out for this special segment that we're having today. We have three spectacular women that are going to be with us, and you will not be disappointed. Please stay with us. Feel free to comment, to ask questions. This is an interactive village community, and I am so excited about this particular segment. It is our first special, and so I hope that you are going to be encouraged and find something that's going to inspire you. So I don't want to delay the time because we do have a very special woman that's going to start. You know what? This is the year of the woman. We are coming out with, both guns loaded per se, and we are not afraid and we are doing the darn thing, right? So I'm super excited to have our guest today. She is a retired Navy veteran. She is the former Orlando mayor candidate. Okay, let me say that again. She is the former Orlando, Florida mayor candidate. She is a master grant writer and 501c3 consultant, helping thousands of individuals reach their goals and multiply their talents. Today, she's going to be talking about the unspoken truth. Please help me welcome Aretha Simons.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Aretha.
How you doing? You look fantastic.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, gosh.
Listen, I want to go ahead and deep dive into this. You are the CEO, president of Multiplying Talents. Tell me about that.
Look, I have been multiplying my talent, first of all, since I was a little girl. It really starts with the seed that's been sown in you. But let me talk about the business of multiplying talents. I started that because I wanted to help people and I needed somebody to set up my nonprofit corporation. Couldn't find anybody, couldn't afford an attorney. So I did it myself. And people started asking me, well, who did yours and who helped you get a grant? And I'm like, I did it. It's easy. So I started helping other people. And again, I tell people that's how I multiply my talents, because I've helped people start their nonprofit. They're helping hundreds and thousands of other people that I may never meet. And so that's the birth of nonprofit, Multiplying Talent, which was 20 years ago.
So let me tell you all, she's being modest because I met Aretha, what was it, 2004, 2005?
2005.
2005, when I was living in Texas. I was attending the Potter's House, and she was one of the people that came in for a for a presentation on 501c3.
Okay.
And so she's been on major platforms. Tell us about some of the platforms you've been on for to talk about 501c3.
Wow. So when I met you in 2005, I had been asked to come to do a 501c3 workshops for the pastors at the Potter's House. So that's when I met you at that workshop. But beyond that, a few years later, Bishop Jakes asked me to teach at the International Pastors and Leaders, where there are millions of people watching that, and there were at least 10,000 people present live there, right there in living color. And so the United States Department of Chamber, I've done workshops for them, multiple cities from Chicago to California to Tennessee. I've been on all types of platforms, just sharing, the information for people who want to start their nonprofit so they can do it right. And then also to get funding, because there is money out there to help you move forward in your goals.
Yes. So I just wanted to lay the foundation, you all. We don't have someone who's just out here, randomly doing things. This is a woman to be reckoned with. So, Aretha, what advice do you have for young people wanting to start a 501c3?
I would tell people to find someone who is already doing that because they have made all the mistakes that you would probably make. They have, put their systems in order. Go to another corporation. I say corporation because people think it's nonprofit. I can't make any money. It is a business. Go to another business who is doing what you want to do and follow them and ask them questions and find out what they're doing. Volunteer there so you can learn everything you need to learn before you jump in and start your own nonprofit. That's the advice I would give somebody.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And of course, they can come to Multiplying Talents
Always,
to get
always,
themselves set up.
always, always.
Great. And so tell us about the difference between applying for a grant versus a loan when launching your business.
Wow. And you know what? I'm glad you asked me that question because right now the government is giving so many loans, a PP loan. Now there's the healthcare and there's so many loans that they're giving. And they say it's a grant loan. Okay. The first word in that is loan. I have people call me, hey, can you help me get this grant? And I said, which one is it? And when I look at it, I tell them, the first word in this is a loan. It says it's a grant. There's certain portions you don't have to pay back, but you will have to pay it back. So basically, that's the difference. You have to read the fine print. The difference between a loan and a grant. Loan, obviously, you got to pay it back. A grant is a gift. That's something somebody give you and you don't have to pay back. So that's basically the difference, if I can, say it in layman's terms.
Okay. Now, are there any grants that you will refer someone to right now that's a great opportunity or that we should be aware of?
Oh, well, take advantage of your city and county government are giving small grants to individuals. They're giving micro grants to individuals and to small businesses and large businesses because they understand, with the COVID situation we're in, it's a trickle down effect. So they understand what's happening in their community. So they've gotten government funding to help you. And I tell people, get it, even the loans, get them. But if you get them, make sure you manage them right. Read what the people say you can use it for. Do not go out and buy a car. Do not go out and, pay off your house with this loan. The loan said you can use it for X, Y, and Z. Then do it for X, Y, and Z because you're going to have to be accountable for that.
That is excellent advice. I have heard some horror stories about individuals getting these, grants and loans,
Mhm.
and there being some special circumstances associated with it, and they didn't follow that.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
follow the directions. I've known people who've gone to jail.
Oh,
So, yes, yes. I just spoke with somebody, and you would not believe I met them at the Pastors and Leaders Conference.
oh,
We became friends from the Pastors and Leaders Conference. I don't remember what year, maybe 10 years ago. And since then, they have been to jail because of mismanaging government funding, federal
wow,
prison, a
wow,
female.
wow. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
it
That's pretty.
wasn't, may I say something? It wasn't all that purposely done. Is She didn't know what she didn't know. And so you have to get someone who knows, how to manage these funds, how to tell you to, do the administrative part of it. There's so many, mechanisms and wheels turning in this, and you have to read for yourself as well.
Thank you.
You're
Because
welcome.
someone needs to know that it's not just a loan, and then you
Yeah,
can kind of start spending it and doing what you want. You
that's
have to
right.
know what the small print says to
Yes.
qualify and to do that, because
Yes.
it could happen to anyone.
Anyone. Anyone.
And so this is something that a term that we use all the time. What is the difference between a rainmaker and a dreamer?
Oh my God. Look at the two words. Look how they're, just different, opposite of each other. A dreamer is somebody who's always talking about what they're going to do. We know people like that. I'm sure you know people. I know people like that, always talking about what they want to do, what they're going to do, and never do it. A rainmaker makes it happen.
Yes.
Even if you don't see the fruit of it yet, the rainmaker is still moving. When you're moving, like somebody on a basketball court, they can still work with you. So you got to keep moving. A rainmaker keeps moving, keeps doing something in action, but a dreamer keeps talking about what they're going to do.
Yes, yes. And I always say, it's one thing to start, but start on your level.
Yes,
Whatever level that is, just start.
that's right.
And
I agree.
keep going. And I always say, as you go, you'll
Mhm.
meet the people that you need to meet to expand.
That's
But
right.
you'll never meet them if you never start.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got to be in
So
motion.
yes. um, so let's discuss streams of income.
Okay. Well,
So yeah.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I want to know what do you suggest for someone, especially during this time of COVID when things are uncertain, people have lost their jobs, and they probably just had the one stream.
Yeah.
So, speak to that.
Well, having multiple streams of income is definitely something that everybody needs to do. Of course, you can work part-time for someone else, but if you're an entrepreneur, you have to definitely do something you're passionate about, because you're going to get into it and, not be passionate about it. And people can feel your passion. They know when you're passionate about something. So find something you're passionate about. If you love baking, start baking. My friend just told me a few weeks ago that, she's been baking more pound cakes than she's ever made. Start baking. If you can type, start, doing resumes for people. Do whatever your gift is. That's why it's your gift. Go ahead and multiply that gift. Your gift, when it says your gift will make room for you, multiply your gifts by using your gifts, and that will bring streams of income. But there's multiple streams of income. There's a lot of people who are hiring people to work from home, a lot of people who are hiring people part-time, a lot of people who are doing online classes. Got a gift? Go online. You know, put your gift online. Ask people to seed into it, or charge for it. So there's multiple streams of incomes that you can do. You have to know what's inside you and let it out. Go ahead and make it rain.
Yeah. There you go. I don't want to touch that, but yes, I think we should start making it rain up in
Yes,
here.
yes.
That's what I'm talking about. So, so um, everyone needs another stream of income. So
Absolutely.
for the young person that is, that might be a young person that has a family, or maybe they are just kind of graduating high school and kind of filling out their way.
Mhm.
What advice would you have for them?
I would say go and intern with someone. It doesn't have to be a free intern. It could be a paid intern. I'm sure you have gifts. As young people, you know how to work the computer. Work with somebody who doesn't know how to work the computer. There's lots of things that young people can do. So one thing I would suggest is to ask for someone who needs help, especially with this computer age. There's so many different things, as we talked about earlier. There's so many different platforms that people are using, and there's an age or demographics that has been left behind with technology. So go and help them and make money doing that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we're getting ready to start taking a few questions from those that are attending, that are watching rather, and I'm just hoping that someone is going to really understand the value of having you on this platform and ask some really good questions, because this is not the time to kind of be timid. But and until they have any questions, I'm going to ask some,
Okay.
because, um, and so when you're starting off doing a 501c3,
Mhm.
of course, we know it is a nonprofit.
Right.
Um, and we know that there's articles of incorporation because you're starting a business.
Mhm.
So, how important is it when you're creating your officers or your board members? How important is that, if especially if they're not going to have a active role in your business?
Well, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Because I was just dealing with someone this morning with this situation. It's important. Your board of directors are very key. A lot of times we're so anxious to get the business started, so we'll put our mom, our brother, sister, cousin name on there, and just to get the paperwork pushed through. But you want to have board members that can help you sustain the organization, because it is a business. And I know we say the word nonprofit, but nonprofit doesn't mean you cannot make a profit, and you must make a profit in order to keep doing what you're doing. So you want to have board of directors on there who can help you sustain the organization financially. If they're not giving financially, then they, can reach out to other people that can help you, help the organization sustain itself financially. And there's so many other roles. And there's going to be times where you're going to agree to disagree. And sometimes that could save your life. That could save the life of the organization. So you need to have people on there who you may disagree with. Have somebody who's an attorney, who's a critical thinker. Have someone on there, who specializes. I mean, there's all different types of nonprofit. Let's say you're starting a daycare. Have someone on there who knows about the state laws for operating a daycare. Don't put everybody on there who's a plumber. They have no idea of knowing, what it takes to sustain a daycare. So I can go on and on about that.
Well, that's what we are here for. because because I know that in times past, I've known people, and you're right, they'll put their family members on their board of directors, but they're not adding value.
Right, right. And there's nothing wrong. There is no rule saying that your family cannot be on there, but your family cannot be majority rule. And what I mean by that, if a husband and a wife are two board members, you have to have three other people who would be the majority rule that aren't related to the husband and wife by blood or marriage.
Awesome. That's good advice. Very good advice. And so when you're setting up the business side of the 501c3, talk to us about the different aspects. I know that there's a bank account, just the things that people need to be mindful of, that these are the steps that you need to take to establish a 501.
Right. And I noticed you keep saying the word 501 because of 501c3, because first of all, there's 27 types of 501c's.
Oh,
For those of you who do not know, we just commonly know the term 501c3, but there's 501c1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 27. So you have to be
okay.
careful what you say when you're applying for that 501c3. But when you're setting up your 501c3, a lot of people think when they incorporate in the state that you're a nonprofit and then you have your 501c3. I've had plenty of people come to me and say, oh, we're already 501c3. And I look them up on the IRS website in that big book called Publication 78, and they're not, because they didn't take the next step. So the first step is incorporating in your state, becoming legal in your state, because the IRS will check. And then from there, then you have your bylaws, of course, your EIN. And I tell people, this is another thing too. We're so quick to get that EIN because it's free. You can get it in 2 minutes online. Do not get the EIN until you get the business name and you are legally incorporated. Because once you get the EIN, you're telling the IRS, hey, I'm in business. Because what's the EIN? It's a social security number. It's a social security number for a business, right? So it
Hmm.
doesn't matter if you didn't incorporate. You said, hey, my baby was born and I gave it a social security number. And now you have a business out there. So I've had people who've had EIN number for 15 years, and IRS said, well, you've been in business. So it's just a lot of things that people need to pay attention to.
Okay. Okay. I was not aware that there were more 501c's.
Yes, 27.
Can you speak to that a little bit? Some of the other ones that might be commonly used that we're not aware of?
Oh, yeah. So there's 501c4, which you probably didn't know they're 501c4. There's your chambers, your social clubs, your fraternities, your sororities. So a lot
Oh,
of them are 501c4. There's labor unions, there political organizations, um, there your colleges, your trust, your banks, your credit unions. They are 501c's. Your
hmm.
funeral homes. There's so many insurance agencies. There's so many. I can go. You're getting into my course. You're getting into my master's training course. So, but there are many, and there are multiple 501c. Like I said, 27. And so you need to know which area you're going into, because depending on what you say to the IRS when you're filling out the form, they're like, oh, well, I know you say you're doing this, but it sounds like you fit in this category, and you want the 501c3, because all the 27 types of 501c's, the
Hmm.
501c3 501c3 status, I feel like I'm teaching now. The 501c3 status is the only one whereby if I write you a check, I can claim it on my taxes. All the other ones, you
Oh,
cannot claim it on your taxes.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that was very informative for sure.
Okay.
I feel like I just want to ask you like so many questions, but I don't want to get into the meat of what what you offer
Yeah.
during your courses and everything. So tell us a little bit about how people can contact you. I know we have some information that we'll have on the bottom of the screen, but what are you offering and things of that nature?
So next month we'll be starting our 501c3 consultant master training course. So if you're talking about stream of income, this is another way to make a stream of income. You'll learn to do what I do as a 501c3 consultant, learn to do 501c3s for multiple organizations. There are many people who need a 501c3, and I have a grant writing master training course. Even if you have a nonprofit and you don't want to write the grants, you still should take the course because you always need to be ready to be ready to be ready. Because a lot of times people call me and say, I need a grant. They don't have anything done. They're like, well, can I read this to you? And what they read to me, it doesn't even make sense. So you need to, like I said, be ready to be ready to be ready. So those are the two courses that we are starting next month. You can find that information out on multiplyingtalents.com. See, somebody said, since 501c3s are indeed a business, what separates a nonprofit to an actual for-profit business? Very good question. Basically, they both can make a profit. The difference between the nonprofit and the for-profit, once they reach a certain level, they can go on the stock market. The nonprofit cannot. Nonprofit can
Okay.
be an $80 million nonprofit. You got a lot of them, but they cannot go on the stock market and trade shares. So there is no and individual investments. No one owns that. It's owned by the public. Really, it's a public organization. Now there are different types. I'm getting ready to get in my teaching again. There are different types. There's a nonprofit. There's a private, and then there's a private foundation. There's a private foundation, and then there's two different types of private foundations. So one is okay, go. So the teaching thing come on me. So Kim, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I just want people to know what they can expect in your class. That you're going to drill down. You're going to incorporate, inform them. And the one thing I like about your classes and your presentation, number one, it's very personable.
Yeah.
Because I've attended, I've been there, but it's
Yes.
very personable. And, for a woman of your influence, if that's a good way to
That's a good word.
present it.
That's a good word because we
Thank
we don't
you.
realize the
Yes,
access that we have, the influence that
yes,
we have. Yes.
yes. As a, Orlando mayor candidate, yes, a woman
Yes.
of influence, yes, a rainmaker. It's very, um, sometimes it's challenging to have access to touch someone and for them to share knowledge and to provide a forum where people can come and be empowered.
Mm.
Sometimes people have their information, but they don't want to share it. And as long as I've known you, that has never been the case. You are an equiper. You want to see people succeed.
Oh yes.
And I think that's really what attracted me to you, early in the 2000, what, five, I think. I can't
Yes.
remember, 2004 or 5.
2005. Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much. I know that we're kind of getting to the end of our time.
Yeah.
Aretha's contact information is on the screen. That's all we have time for with her today, but we definitely would like for her to come back. And if you want to contact her, please reach out. As you can see, she is definitely a woman that you need to have access to. Aretha, thank you so much for being a
Thank
guest. I
you.
really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kim. I've enjoyed myself. Always, always. Anytime you need me, I'm here.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So So we are going to go and keep this, keep this train rolling. We have our next guest that's behind stage, and listen. Aretha got it started, but when I tell you our next guest is getting ready to take it to a whole nother level, I need you to understand that that's what's getting ready to go down. Okay. So we have a CEO and federal government employee, a 21-year veteran of the armed forces. She is going to be talking about women and in the military and entrepreneurship. Please help me welcome Sharon Pickett-Williams.
Well, what an introduction. Thank you. Thank you so much. How you doing,
Yeah,
Karen?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. I got my Hillman College shirt on today.
Okay. Now listen, full
Yes, ma'am.
disclosure. Let me just tell y'all out there, full disclosure, before Sharon gets started, let me tell you something. I have worked for Sharon. Listen, and if you thought that you was going to, work for this woman and be mediocre, listen, she takes all the excuses away. She takes anything that you thought you was going to use for an excuse not to be productive. Listen, she coming right there and say, okay, no. And she'll address it, equip you, and send you on about your way productive and expect results the next day. Not in 2 weeks, the next day. So listen, that's the military side of her. A producer. Listen, and so Sharon, let me just go ahead and dive in. You are a 21-year veteran.
Yes, definitely.
And tell us about your experience in the military.
Okay, you know what? At first, I went in the military playing basketball. That's what I thought I was going to do. That's why I actually, went into the military. I was actually playing pro basketball overseas.
Okay.
And we was at a tournament in Russia. And we got, I met the basketball coach over there and we talked a while. And as I was ending my contract in Italy, I decided to join the military. And as soon as I did, the Gulf War broke out. So I ended up in the Persian Gulf. I was on a plane looking at a weapon instead of a basketball, asking myself, what happened? But I'm going to tell you, my military career was one of the best moves I made, one of them. And I decided to make it very productive. But going back to something you said about production, how even women in the military, women professionally, we got to do it bigger and better. And because we're women, I mean, it's a lot of racism and a lot of stuff going on around the world, right? But if you think about it, they would rather have a male in those places, whether you're a black or white woman. We're still in the struggle. Women, professional women, we're still in a big battle for our to carve out our name in corporate America, or just being professionals. So I had set my mind to, okay, I'm going to get my education while I'm here, but I'm going to head for Sergeant Major. I'm going to head for the top. And my goal was to definitely make Sergeant Major before I got out of the military. But, thanks to getting blown up a couple times, that ended. But it still was a great 21 years, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And so bringing out the best in people and my expectations of them, because I've seen what these young kids could do, men, women, whatever. And it's just all about tapping into them and bringing out the best of them, best out of them.
Right.
So, yeah. So it was hard. It's a male-dominated field. The military, very male-dominated field. And then, after the military, going into Shell Oil and Gas, I was a health and safety inspector on oil rigs. So again, another male-dominated field. So, you had to take constructive criticism every day. I challenged myself what can I do better? What could I have done better? You know, I just have to go over that regiment. I have myself on a very strict regiment of how I get up in the morning time, pray, and then take myself through what can I do better today than I did yesterday. So
Mm-hmm.
every day to me got to be very productive. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I expect of, you know, the people around me, people to work for me, family. I expect that. What did you do today that was productive? I asked my
Yes.
4-year-old nephew, great nephew, what have you done today that was productive? He said,
Yes.
I cleaned my room. It's productive.
Yes. Yes. I
You
love
see what I
that.
mean?
I love that. And
Yeah.
I'm a living witness that, you know, that she is definitely asking those questions. And I have had to answer those questions on days when I didn't know the answer.
You knew the answer. You knew the answer. I know you knew the answer. You always had the answer.
And so let me ask you this. Do you recommend the military for our young people today?
Yes, this generation is missing a lot of discipline, and I think they don't have enough people to believe in them. So you're gonna have to believe in yourselves. The way America has is with all these broken homes. They're part and I'm not trying to come off pro-black, pro-white, or anything like that, right? I'm just saying it for what it is. They're breaking up the homes a lot, and you're gonna have to start believing in yourself. So I love the way the military, if you're gonna use the military, make sure you get your education, get something out of it. Don't just go in there and say, you know, I'm gonna be a soldier following orders. No, you be the one to give the orders. You be the one to make the change. So yeah, I do suggest using that as one of the ways
Mm-hmm.
to get you ahead in this world, and it's a good platform to use, but use
Right.
it to your advantage. And it's, you know, it's a service, man. It's serving your country. You know, is if you get up in the morning time and say, well, this country does nothing for me, and believe me, I've been places where we are so blessed you would not believe it. You know that I know we're not perfect. America's not perfect, but there's no other country I would rather live in, to be honest with you. So,
Right.
um, you know, just from what I've seen, I'm sure there's beautiful countries out there all over the place. But I definitely, definitely would say a leg up, definitely use the military to do that.
Definitely.
Definitely. Yep.
Um, you know, as a veteran myself, and you know that I remember when I went into the military, you know, I had some challenges with my, let's just say, attitude, right? I was from a small city, and, you know, everyone knew everyone. And back then, you know, the world evolved around me. So when I went into the military, that helped me to
Mhm.
know, okay, first of all, the world is bigger than what you just left in your little small hometown where you was the bomb.com,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And so I had to humble myself. It gave me structure, it gave me discipline. And so I'm in total agreement that the young people nowadays definitely need to get some of that to help them see more than just their neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Um,
Hmm. And I got to see the world. I mean, I
yeah.
was already abroad anyway, but the
Uh-huh.
different cultures, just, you know, just visiting with the folks there and learning a different language. And it
Yes.
was great. It was a great experience. I mean, not the bullets flying at me too much, but other than that, it was great.
Thank goodness I didn't
Definitely.
see any wartime, but I did get a chance to travel some, so I do
Oh, yeah.
understand that. Um,
Mhm.
so here's a very, you know, sticky question I have for you. What
Mhm.
do civilians need to know before signing up into the military?
What do they need to know? Okay, that's a good
Yes.
question, actually. You need to know what you're getting into, right?
Right.
Go in there with a goal in mind, and do not let them alter that goal. Meaning, if you said, I'm going to go and I want to be a military nurse, okay, or I want to be a truck driver, right? Then that's what you set your mind for. Don't let them change your mind. because they're trying to check off that recruiting block to say, we need more drivers or more fuelers. Let's go ahead and pull them into that and we'll give them a bonus. No, go in there and put your cards on the table and try to get what you want to get out of it. All right, because everybody goes through basic training and AIT is the same. But then after that, you need to make sure you go in there with goal in mind and say, hey, I'm here. I'm going to get my education. I'm staying this long or whatever. You may like it, may stay longer, but have a goal in mind. Don't let them set your career path. You set your career path in the military.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I tell young people with going in is make sure that the skill that you are selecting is a skill that you can use outside.
Exactly.
Because if you're going in as a gunner, you're loading the weapon, you're a gunner. You can't use that as a civilian, per se.
You're right. But then I noticed that a lot of, some of the young men, the infantrymen, are getting a little smarter. So what they're doing is they're going in as a gunner, or they may go in as a sniper, right? Mm-hmm. And then once they make the rank, or they start to get up there in the rank, they'll change over to something that's going to be more productive.
Oh, okay.
And that they can use on the outside. So they're starting to do that. Now, before, you got the ones that go in as a gunner and come out as a gunner and didn't get an education. Do you understand how much money is left on the table each year? And I'm talking billions of dollars, because soldiers go into the military and they'll pay into this post 9/11 or the GI Bill the first 4 years and get out and won't use it. It expires in 10 years. Now that's why they did post 9/11, because you can now give it to your family members. But there is billions of dollars left on the table, and education money is unused that you've already paid for the first 4 years of your career. It came right out of your check. You didn't miss it because they started taking it out as soon as you got in. And it's billions of dollars left. And you know where it goes? Right back. Somebody's pocketing in line. It's right back on the table. You can Google it. You'll be surprised how much money is left on the table by our soldiers. And that's one thing I stressed. I don't care if we was in Iraq or whatever, get online and you're gonna get your education. And when you get out, if you don't use it, give it to your kids, give it to a family members, do something, but don't leave it on the table. And that's the biggest mistake we make. That I think a lot of soldiers make. Is blowing that opportunity.
Yeah. As a veteran, for me, I'm still looking for benefits. Look, whatever's out there, I want to make sure I take a part of it. I've bought my home with with that. And then I've also, used USAA that is dedicated to the service members. Maybe Federal Credit Union, I'm on top of it, sign me up. So, you have to.
Definitely got to. Yeah.
One of the things that you wanted to talk about was entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And so, yes, tell me something about that.
Okay, so when I got out, again, I wanted to use, I always wanted to work for myself also, right? So it's a couple business ventures I started out. I have a degree and also in business management. So I started my safety company. So I knew that there was a need for health and safety inspectors, right? So after I got out, I went back to Rutgers University and I just got my OSHA certifications so I can just start my own safety company. And I started going around and doing these inspections. So I had like a 4-person business at first. I only had 4 people under me because then again, I got that. Then I got a medical billing and coding company. So I had a couple different, you want to have different streams of revenues coming in.
Yes.
But do not overwhelm yourself. Mm-hmm. It did get kind of overwhelming. I ended up having to, because of COVID, I had to shut one of the companies down. And doing a lot of my safety company still doing very good because you could do those reports online and just send them in. But the other stuff, since COVID hit, it did stop a lot of things. But then you know, you're in emergency management, so you know what's out there for businesses and everything. But starting your own company it is very stressful. But if it's something that you love, I never say it's work. If it's something that you love doing. So
Yes.
yeah, but there are a lot of small business loans. There are a lot of things for women to get you started, even through the VA. You know, you could use, even though you use part of your veterans loan to buy your house, there's another part that's your business part. If you haven't used that yet, you need to use that to start your business. That's totally different than your
Okay.
house. Okay. So
Okay.
I think it depends on the years, but I think it's $50,000 out there to start your business using that veterans loan.
Okay.
So that
Well,
definitely take advantage of that.
let me find out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, start Google and find
Yeah,
out where that's at. Yes,
yeah.
indeed. Yes,
It's
indeed.
buried in the document. You got to read it. Got to read it. Matter of fact, just call me, Kim. I'll tell you where it is.
Okay. 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 So, one thing I have noticed, in corporate America and now working in the federal government, I have noticed that some of the young people and older
Mm-hmm.
tend to bring home into work, meaning if you as the branch director tell me something and I don't like it, my response is more street type or home type response than it is a corporate disciplined type response. That's where that entitlement comes in, and that's where those tantrums come in and things of that nature. Talk to me, because you're up in the senior leadership of the government right now,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to climb the ranks. So
Right.
talk to me about, how you need to conduct yourself, especially for those who might be entering or climbing up the ranks.
Okay. Don't wear your feelings on your sleeve. Now, I always say this, and it doesn't go for everybody, but when someone, as you're getting into this, right, especially in the federal government, you got to understand these people have already had 2 and 3 careers prior to getting to this part. Some of them is
Mm-hmm.
their first, and if it is their first, they came in very young, and things have changed, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what you got to do is, ask yourself when they come at you. I won't mention the person's name, but we had somebody that was in a supervisor position that's very entitled, feels very entitled. But, you know, when they lash out at you, or they want to bring a response out of you, right? They want to bring a response of negativity, a negative response out of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell by the way they come at you. So if they're coming at you very harsh and that's the response they're trying to get. If they're trying to come at you with some constructive criticism, it's going to be presented to you in a different way. And you're going to give them that different response. But you can't, especially in the federal government, you cannot and there's a lot of cliques in the federal government. There's a lot of circles. There's still the good old boys club in the federal government. You already know. So I say when you play the game with them without playing games, you can play the game without playing games. So take 10% of what they get from what you can pull from it, what you need out of it. Question
Mm-hmm.
yourself and throw away the rest. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But always try to maintain your professionalism. Now, I know, like Kim, you could say something to someone and just say, "Hey, look, get over there and get that. Go over there and get that piece of paper." I would say it as, "Look, get over there and get that piece of paper." It depends on how you say it and who it's coming from and the personality. So they're trying to read you straight from the door. And when you're in the federal government, you're a woman and you're up in these, as you get higher in the federal government, they're trying to bring out a certain response, meaning they're telling you right off the bat, you got to earn your position here. You don't belong in this
Mm-hmm.
arena. So you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to. We're gonna make you earn it a lot.
Yeah.
More than my peers would have to earn it.
Right. Right.
So you just gotta watch for that. Just know your audience and just know when to just enough and then pull back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
do not make your responses come from a place of emotions.
Yeah.
Never emotions.
Yeah.
Not make it come from emotions.
I was told one time, and this is kind of plays into what you said, and then we're going to look to see if there's any questions for you. Learn the rules of engagement and then play well.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
a good rule to live by.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I didn't know if there was any questions out there for Sharon. Listen, this is not the time to kind of hold back and not ask any, but until any questions come, I still have some myself, right? Because I'm excited that you're here, and they don't know that what I know, and I just want to keep telling everyone that when you find another strong woman, as me as a woman, and I found a strong woman who was a equipper, you can't let that go. You have to kind of like grab on to that individual and stay close, because she's a trailblazer. She's gone the places that I'm trying to go. She's done the things that, I'm trying to do in corporate and in the federal government. So, you being here today, Sharon, is really, a humbling experience for me, with all of the knowledge and all of the things that you've done and brought to the table.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so, if someone is trying to come into, let me say it this, as a female in today's society, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you see is, yes, we may not be treated fairly, although I do see there are some aspects where we as women are thriving, but there is still some room to grow. We still need to kind of step up and occupy our space in the room.
Yeah.
What would you tell the young woman that is still trying to find her voice? We all remember when we were young and did not 100% understand who we were. And so we were very impressionable and grabbing and trying to, please. What advice would you give to that woman?
I would say, know yourself, right? Don't dumb down your knowledge, because look, if you're a strong woman, you're coming into a workforce like this, there's gonna be some people that are very intimidated by you. You are very intimidating to them. They'll use a specific word that they love to use when there's a strong Black woman present, or a strong woman, or it doesn't matter, a woman, if there's a strong woman present, they love to use that word that I hate, that men call women all the time. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're very educated. Don't dumb yourself down, and don't show that you are a leader. Always, if you're a leader, you're a leader. If you know something, I'm not saying go in there and take over the room and know it all. So as you come into it, learn, right? Listen and learn first. Observe, right? Learn everything around you. Those systems that we use in the federal government, especially in our realm of work, I taught myself that system. I practice in it. I went all through it just to prepare myself. So learn your job and take that thing and make it yours, and then ask yourself, what value can I add to it? So you got to always make yourself valuable. And you're going to have, because you're a woman, you're going to have to do it bigger and better. All right. So my advice to the young woman coming into the federal government at any job, don't dumb it down, but learn first. Get in there, listen and learn before you speak about anything. Listen and learn. And you're going to find your niche. And once you do that, the sky's the limit. You're just going to keep rising. You're just going to keep rising. Don't know one person know everything. There's every day, every morning you wake up, there's always something new to learn. There's always something new to learn. And especially about, your career. There's something you could be doing better. Something that you may think of that nobody else has thought of. And that's what I'm looking for daily. I'm gonna just keep pushing until I can't push no more. Right. And you got to keep striving for that. You just got to keep. So I would say, listen, learn, and do well. Yeah, that's how you can do it. That's how you got to do it every day.
No one can take away your knowledge.
That's right.
Right. If you know your job, if you know what you're supposed to be doing, no one can touch that.
And they can't take it away.
Yeah, there might be a personality or a personal conflict, but as far as what you were hired to do, if you're doing your job and you're doing it well,
that's right.
There's really nowhere to go with that. Like you said, you've made yourself valuable.
Yes. Always thinking 2 levels up, right? Kim, you should know that, right? That's what we always say in the military, 2 ranks up. Right. Never the rank you're at. Always 2 levels up.
Right. And so for those of you who didn't catch that, if you are, let's just say, a customer service rep now, and then your next step is a lead and next step is a supervisor, you should already be thinking as a supervisor, because that's 2 steps up. Like, don't always keep your mind at a customer service rep. Learn those other 2 so that when you get there, you're ready to step into that and move forward. So that's
2 levels up.
Although I can necessarily do my 2 steps up, but I'm not sure I want that. I enjoy.
You make a very good point, because like I said, people in the federal government have already had about 2 or 3 different careers, right? This is the retirement plan. This is how I'm gonna sail on out. I want to sit right here at this level, and that's okay. There is nothing wrong with that. You're still doing your job, but guess what? You know exactly what you want to do. You don't want this type of stress. You don't want this. I know a lot of people like that. They said, nope, I'm gonna sit right here at this. I can try to push them. They'll tell me, no, I don't want that other level. I want to sit right here. Then I say, okay. And if you know exactly what you want to do, that's fine with me. So, and that's a very good point.
If you're good at it, then, I have one person I can count on that can do that job, very well. So
there you go.
Well, listen, that's all we have time for today, Sharon.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being on. I know you're super busy. And is it Aspen? Is that his name?
Yes. I know you didn't know this. Aspen passed away on the 21st. Yes, and you know that was
sorry. Aspen was her little dog, and he traveled with her, and Aspen ran the hotels. Let me tell you something. Aspen ran it. Our agendas was around Aspen.
That's right.
Yeah.
13 years.
Well,
he knew every stewardess on the airlines. This dog, he was something else.
Wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you so much for joining us. I definitely want to have you back sometime in the future. This has been a pleasure. And, any final words?
No, thank you for having me, Kim. I really appreciate you. And this your knowledge and where you're going. I already see it, but I already know what you're doing and what you're up to. But thank you
Okay.
again for having me, Kim. I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. All
All
right.
right.
Talk to you
Bye-bye.
soon. Bye-bye. So we're going to keep this moving. It's so awesome when I have women that I know and I could just kind of have fun and still share what they have to offer with you. So that's the joy of this type of environment for me. I'm a networker, a lot of you know that, and I enjoy meeting people. And once I meet someone, I hold on to them. So, these women are powerhouses. And the next one, the final one, when we talk about powerhouses, she takes it to a whole nother level, right? So my next guest, she is a legal assistant, a body builder, right? And she is my former personal trainer. Today she's going to talk about health and fitness. Please help me welcome Jennifer. Come on in.
Hi. Good to see
Hi.
you, Kim. It's been a while. How you been?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Listen, I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
I don't think many of us that are watching have ever had the opportunity to talk to a real bodybuilder, right? So let's just start there because that was the one thing that really stuck out to me when I first met you, and I was like, good lord, this woman is strong. I hope she never even just like play and just push me because I know I would just fall over. But tell us about your bodybuilding career.
Okay. Well, I'll start with fitness in general, because it's a little bit of an interesting story. Everyone assumes that I've always been into fitness, which is very untrue. I didn't get into it till probably like when I met my husband, my now husband, who at the time was my neighbor. And it started where I was never interested in working out whatsoever. I had a Wii Fit, that little board you used to stand on in your living room. I would do that like once in a blue moon, maybe walk around my block. And I was like, okay, I did something. I struggled with eating disorders through my teen years. So that was the only way, if I wanted to lose weight, that I ever thought to do was not eat, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I love talking about this more now than ever, because it's helped me overcome so much, and I've changed. I mean, I still struggle. That's something that'll always be with me. But anyways, I'll get to the point. I met my husband who went to the gym regularly, and I joined the gym to have that in common with him, and connect with him and impress him a little bit. And I joined an all women's gym, Shapes, when it was open. And I didn't know what I was doing. I took some classes. I do some of the machines. I didn't know what body parts I was working. Would go to 10, didn't feel anything, didn't know anything. Started going to the gym with him, and he started training me like a guy. And I started seeing some really awesome changes. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, I saw my triceps coming in, different body parts, and I was hooked. And we went every day. We drank our protein shakes, do all that stuff. And started carrying a gym bag, started carrying a jug, like just all those things that you see, and everyone started seeing the changes in me too. And I decided that once I started feeling so good about myself, best I've ever felt, and it was really eye-opening. Had I known this would be the result, I would have started a lot sooner. And I decided I wanted to start helping women discover this so that other ladies can feel this good. I know a lot of girls who struggle with themselves, physically, and how they feel, and we're our own worst critics and always ripping ourselves apart, trying to fit some image we have in our head that we feel that we should be. And so I became a coach with Beachbody. It was the only thing at the time that I could do because I was a single mom and I was a legal assistant at a law firm in Tampa. And personal training does not pay very well. So that was something I could really realistically explore at the time. So I did this online coaching stuff and started helping girls remotely doing like these online challenge groups, which was amazing. And then everyone started saying, "What, do you compete? Do you compete?" And I was like, "No way, no way. Am I? No, no, just no. I'm not a person who likes to be the star of the show. Like all eyes on me on stage. The fact that I do this still amazes me because it still makes me just as nervous as when I told everyone no way. But then I was like, the more I started training, the more changes I saw, the more confidence I got in myself. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to compete. Everyone's telling me I should do it. There must be a reason everyone's telling me that. Let me see what this is all about. So I decided to do my first show back in August. I don't know. So it was September 6th, 2016 was my first show. I started training for that in like June of that year. And I hired a coach and I followed a diet and exercise plan to a T for about 16 weeks. I won first place in every category I entered, won the overall of the show, and I was hooked from that point on. Started training for my next show. Here I am 4 years later. I'm now an IFBB pro bodybuilder. I went for my pro card. I got so into it, and I've competed every season since. It's been quite an experience. I've learned so much along the way. I was in between being a legal assistant and again, now I'm a legal assistant. Somewhere in the middle, I was a personal trainer for about 2 years. But with COVID and all of that going on, I made the decision to go back to an old law firm I worked at, which thank goodness for that, because with COVID, I would have been out of a job with the gyms closing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I have a family, we have a family of four, of 2 kids, and, we need a regular, consistent income. So now I get to work in the legal field, which I do enjoy. But I'll tell you what, I'm definitely the oddball in the office for sure. But I also train people after work and on the weekends just because I have a handful of clients that, they mean a lot to me. I have good relationships with them. And so I continue to do that on the side.
Okay. Okay.
Story.
And so let me ask you, what are some of the challenges as a female in the industry?
You know what? I have not run into any challenges that
Hmm.
are gender specific, honestly. Probably my biggest challenges as a bodybuilder have been just internal with my preps and just working on improving and staying on track and avoiding your urges to eat things off. It's a really tough personal challenge to do. And you go through a lot of coaching in your mind to get there. But I have not run into anything that, as a woman, has been an issue versus men, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, good, 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 good. And for everyone that's watching, I did introduce her saying that she was my trainer for a little bit. And let me tell you, I was doing stuff that I didn't know I could do because Jen was on top of it and, motivating me and, one more, two more. And I was like, I ain't gonna make it. And she was like, you can make it. And so I made it and, I was, reaching my goals. And so on a personal training note, I haven't been to any of her competitions. I've seen the pictures with her rock star, but on a personal training front, she's stellar. She's powerful. And so I just wanted to kind of throw that little gem out there, Jen, because you totally helped me through some times when I didn't think I was going to be able to make it. And so I appreciate, and your contact information is there for those that are looking to connect with you and might have some additional questions. And hopefully we'll have some questions coming up. I'm not quite sure. There's like a little ticking or something that I'm hearing in the background, but
I hear that
talk
too.
to me about body dysmorphia.
Body dysmorphia. It is something that I struggle with even to this day, which people find hard to believe.
What is it?
I'm in the best shape of my life. It's when you have a very distorted image of yourself and you can't really see the positive. You only look for the negatives and kind of rip yourself apart in a negative way and can't love and appreciate your body and how you look. And it's, it's a something a lot of ladies go through. It's been a struggle for me all my life since I was a teenager. Like I said, I struggled with eating disorders. Ashamed to say that I made myself throw up as a teenager after eating dinner with my parents, and starved myself all day. And just always, look back at pictures and I was skinny, and thought I was fat. And I'm so glad that this day and age, I feel like fitness is really becoming more popular, and being a strong woman is, being screamed from the rooftops now. And it's such an important thing that a lot of ladies are just feeling empowered these days.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's spreading, I feel like, and models, the image of what models are. Back in my childhood days, a model was a stick skinny figure that's all you saw, and that's what you thought you needed to be. At least I guess I did. And I'm just so happy that, my daughter sees me and she sees what I'm doing. That's what she's gonna remember, and not that my mom was stick skinny or anything, or, I don't know really where that came from in me,
Mhm.
because it wasn't from her. But I'm glad that, she's being raised to know that strong is beautiful, or whatever you want to be is beautiful, just to love yourself and to work on yourself constantly to be better, but you're always great no matter what. You know what I mean? But yes, body dysmorphia, I don't think ever goes away. I feel like even when you feel confident, you feel good, there are just days where you can't help but, have those negative thoughts that you need to learn how to coach yourself. Like the strongest muscle in your body is up here, our brain, our minds. When you talk to yourself, that voice is, you can talk to it back and reverse the things it's saying. Sometimes when I start getting negative, I'll sit by myself and be like, no, this isn't continuing, and I'll just talk to myself and just reiterate positive and just force it in me, and it makes you feel better. And, it's why I love personal training, and I only train women specifically because I want to help ladies feel better about themselves. And I love when my clients are feeling strong. They show their biceps and they're proud of the muscles they're developing. That is a hard thing to do, and it's something to be very proud of. It takes a lot of work and discipline to do,
Mhm.
and you should be proud and show it off. And I'm just a big supporter of being a strong woman, and girl power all the way. And there's ladies doing incredible things right now, and it's just exciting.
Awesome, awesome. The body just, images that we have of ourselves. I think that, one way or another, many of us have struggled with that. There might be one thing that we wish was better, or, two, three things that, we wish that we had in a different light. So, owning your truth and who you are, and being content, and, just working with what you have.
Yep. Yep.
So do you think everyone should have fitness goals?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like, maybe not to the, so people look at me and they'll be like, I want you to train me, but I don't want to look like you. Listen, I don't train people thinking they want to look like me. I get this is not for everybody, and that's fine. I'm not here to try to make you look like me. I'm here to show you what your body is capable of doing, and that you can push yourself harder than you think you can. There's a lot of times where even I need that push. When I'm training, I'll get my husband like, can you come to the gym with me? I want to really push it today beyond my limits. We set limits for ourselves. We are always able to go past those, whether we know it or not. And that's why I'm here to train people, to show them that you can go past where you don't think you can go. You can still go. You just have to push. And that's why trainers are great to have, because I guarantee you, I'll be having you do things that you wouldn't be doing that yourself.
Yes, I'm fully aware. Thank you. This is yes, you did. Okay, so I don't know if this is a good question or not, but how much can you lift right now, Jen?
That's funny. Everyone asks that question, how much can you bench? I get it when I'm out in
Right.
the streets all the time from guys, a lot of guys. And I don't even have the answer to that question, to be quite honest with you. I don't necessarily train heavy all the time. I don't max out. It's called maxing out to determine that answer, which means you try to go your heaviest you possibly can for one rep. And I don't do that very often. And I just had a show recently, and I was sick after, COVID negative, thankfully. But I'm just kind of getting back into training. This was my first week back. It wasn't my strongest week, which was very frustrating for me, but I'm telling myself that's okay. At least I'm back in the gym. You know, I got to build it back up. I wasn't feeling well for a while, and I really ran myself down my last prep. So I don't know how much I can lift. I mean, I do go heavy. I try to lift heavy. You know, I know I can bench probably at least, I don't even know, 180, 200 maybe. I don't know. I might need to just do it so I have an answer for people, because it's been a while. But, you know, I don't only train heavy. I do lots of reps. I do burnouts with bands. I do a little bit of everything. So my training is not what people think it is just because of what they see when they see me. You know, there's a lot of diet that goes into this. There's so many things that go into creating this. It's not necessarily, you know, how heavy can you go?
Right. Okay, so we're not, I do have a question from Bernard. It went away. Okay, it says, what advice or tips do you have with regards to the intake of supplements in terms of quality and safety?
Well, supplements, I would really do your research. A lot of the things you get in the store, they are not regulated, so they can put anything in there that they want. So really research your stuff and the ingredients. And then, you know, as far as I use, if you're looking at like proteins and that kind of thing, like I have a brand I really enjoy. It tastes good. It's, you know, the macros in it is important too. You want to make sure that the proteins, carbs, and fats are within your goals for your food for that day. But do your research. That's my best advice, is do your research on it and make sure it's something that you want to be putting into your body.
Okay. And so they definitely should be putting protein in after the workout. Is that before and after, or just make sure for afterwards?
Post-workout protein is important. You know, protein all day long with every meal. Really, you want to get your protein in for the whole day. So every meal should have some protein in it. Yes.
Okay. And then your pre-workout, because you definitely want to be able to have something in your system. I know I did. I wanted to have that extra adrenaline, if you will, to help me to push myself to do more. What kind of stuff what category is that?
Well, pre-workouts, I used to be really hooked on pre-workout to the point that if I didn't have it for some reason, or it was out, or didn't have it in my bag, I just went into my workout thinking, oh, my workout's going to stink because I don't have my pre-workout with me. And then I also got to the point that some of them didn't work because I took them every day. I don't take any pre-workouts anymore. I've cut them out completely. When I get close to a show, you have to cut that stuff out. Then you go through this crazy caffeine withdrawal feeling. That was kind of hard to get over. And then eventually I was like, I'm just not going to start this stuff anymore. That's another thing with pre-workouts too. You got to be careful with the ingredients. A lot of them have these stimulants that are really powerful. And I always went for the strongest, craziest ones that make you get tingles up and down your arms. And I was like, this can't be good for my body. What is doing this in this stuff? They got the craziest ingredients too. You really need to research it. They're not good for your heart and that kind of thing. I just decided not to take them anymore. You know, once in a blue moon, if I'm really sleepy and I really just don't feel like I can put myself together to train, I'll take it. And anyone will work because I haven't taken it in such a long time. But again, it's a personal preference. You know, I'm not against them. I did it for a long time. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I just push myself. And I do take caffeine. I do caffeine. You know, I always wake up in the morning, I have some caffeine. I have some in the middle of the day. But I'm getting to the point too, if I work out in the evening, if I take stuff too late, I have trouble sleeping. So that's another thing I have to pay attention to, because sleep is really important in the whole process too.
Yeah. I know what you mean about that that tingling in your arms and hands and stuff because you took too much and it was too strong. I've done that, and so I do understand that sensation. I remember I took something, a pre-workout, and I went to Orange Theory, and they do the high intense what's the HIIT?
High intensity interval training.
Thank you. So they did that, and I was doing that for a little bit when I was in North Carolina, and I did the pre-workout. I had just bought it. I didn't know anything about it, and I drank that, and I couldn't make it through the whole hour because my heart rate was so elevated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I felt like I needed to stop because, you know, you have the little monitor on and you can kind of see on the board what your heart rate is. And I was in the red almost from the beginning, and it just kept getting higher and higher. And I felt like if I would have went the whole hour, that it would have caused me to be in an unsafe, you know, status.
Yeah, for sure.
So you definitely have to be careful. And I think that's that was a good indicator for me that I shouldn't be, you know, doing things that I'm not educated on. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I never recommend it to someone who doesn't work out regularly. You know, if you're not used to pre-workouts, I start with a half a scoop, see how it makes you feel.
That's what happened.
Do baby
I took a whole scoop.
Plus, with pre-workout too, I've also learned that, or for me, if I take it before cardio, it's completely, and that's HIIT is cardio, for the most part. It works better for me if I'm lifting, because when you lift heavy, it kind of helps it go away because of the intensity of your lifts. But with cardio, it's different because your heart rate's up. So your heart rate isn't up that much when you're training, when you're lifting. But for cardio, your heart rate's going to be up high anyway. So then add pre-workout, and that's a dangerous combination potentially.
Yes. I learned that the hard way. That was my one bad experience with that. So Jen, many aren't going to the gym right now, you know, because of COVID. You know, what are some things that, you know, we can do at home just to kind of keep us active and, you know, keep us going?
You know, like I said, when I first started helping people with fitness, I did it through Beachbody, and I don't do it really anymore because I do personal training on the side, but I'm still a huge advocate for them. Their programs are amazing. I used to get up in the morning and I did P90X3, and I've done quite a few of their programs from my living room, in groups, online groups with friends, and you post when you're done or post videos of yourself during your workout.
Okay.
And I mean, their programs are phenomenal. You can go on YouTube for free and look up whatever body part or whatever workout, 20 minutes, you can type in whatever and you'll find some results. And you can do those videos. If you don't want to do that, you know, you can do stuff, crunches, you can do push-ups off your couch, you can do dips off a chair, you can do air squats, lunges. There are things you can do. If you don't have dumbbells, you can use cans. You can use gallon jugs as resistance. You know, you can buy cheap bands from Amazon that attach to your door and use band resistance. You know, there's a lot of things you can do at home to stay active and fit. Go for runs, go for walks. You know, there's a lot of stuff.
Okay. Well, those are some really good suggestions there, especially the Beachbody. If those who want a more, you know, paid and structured workout, and like you said, you can search YouTube and get anything. I mean, and just find one that really works for you and stay with that subscription with that trainer, if you will, and you know, get that working out in. Yeah. Um, and so I know that when you work out, and you know, you guys taught me about this, that it's not so much about your workout, but it is, but it also has to do with your eating.
Yeah.
So that was my struggle. So talk to us about, you know, your eating habits as you know, when you're trying to get results.
It's everyone's problem and struggle, by the way. That is the hardest part, always, forever. It will never be different. So, you know, it is hard. My best suggestion, and this really seems to only work for people who don't have children in their home, because we have children and we always have snacks because of them, because I'm not going to stop them from eating, you know, the stuff they want. So every time I open my cabinet, there's, you name it, it's in there, cupcakes and candy and cookies and, you know, and I have to look at that and then reach for my oatmeal and get that instead. And that can
Mm-hmm.
be really hard. And I seem to wake up in the middle of the night. I'm on a habit of that for some reason right now. And the first thing I want to do when I wake up is go look for food for some reason. It is more important than you're exercising. If you're trying to lose weight, which most people are, I feel like always are trying to lose weight. It's always, you know, the struggle for most people. So as far as that, you know, you need to try to eat as clean as possible. Will get you the best results, or you have to stay at a calorie deficit. So if you want to eat that cookie, that's fine. Make sure, I would suggest MyFitnessPal, some kind of app where you log in your food. You can still eat that cookie, but you have to make sure your rest of your day keeps you at a deficit if you want to still lose weight. So you can still have your snacks that you enjoy, you know, in moderation. But if you want to lose weight, you have to be in a deficit, and you want to add cardio because that'll help too. And then if you're trying to build muscle, that's a whole nother ball game where you want to eat at a surplus, and the cleaner the better, because you'll gain lean muscle versus fat. You can gain muscle eating crap food, but you're going to gain a lot of fat too. You know, it's up to you. In my off season, when I don't have a structured plan with a coach and I do it on my own, and the weekends come and the kids want to order pizza and I do that kind of thing, I tend to, it's called dirty bulking, where you're bulking and trying to gain muscle with food that's not clean. And then I make my prep season, when I cut, a lot harder on myself and a lot more work because I gain so much more fat.
Mm-hmm.
So if you eat right, and you can still eat the pizza and the cookies and stuff, but in moderation at a very small amount, you know, so you can stay within your goals. But structure is everything. It helps me, you know, if I eat the same thing at the same time every day, I do my best. I think I thrive a little bit more. If I'm not prepared with food for the next time I'm supposed to eat, and I don't eat when I'm hungry, I eat at scheduled times every day. And if I don't have my food with me, then I'm going to go off my plan, you know, and I'm going to be hungry. And then who knows what I'm going to eat when I'm hungry? Forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything, it's the first thing I see is what's going to be eaten
That's
because I'm
right.
hungry.
Right.
So if you eat on a schedule, you probably eat before you're even starving, and you won't be so tempted by that bad food if your stomach is not going crazy with growls and stuff like that. At least that's from my experience. Like right now, I just had my chicken and rice. This morning I had oats with strawberries and blueberries, with a shake, a protein shake, and I eat every 2.5 hours, and
Oh, wow.
it just helps me stay on track, and it helps me
Mm-hmm.
avoid the bad stuff because I can look at it and not eat it if I'm not hungry and I just ate.
Yeah. 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 So we're nearing the end of our 30 minutes, but I know that the people that are going to be watching this segment is going to want to see your muscle. And so
I had a
they're going to
feeling that
want
this
to
was
see it,
coming. I had
Jen.
a feeling.
They're just going to want to see it.
All right.
So I'm just
So,
asking you, is that, yeah, there you go. Look at those rocks. Yes.
I just had a
Yes.
show, so I'm actually really lean right now. This won't be for long. So,
Oh my God, yes. Well, Jennifer, it's always a joy to see you. You know how I feel about you. I love you. If I can send any business your way, her contact information is there on the screen. Please reach out to Jennifer. She is a jewel, and she is truly passionate about health and fitness. Any final words, Jen?
to anyone struggling with this or anything in your life, really keep pushing. Just don't give up. Those hard times are going to pass. You know, if you're having eating trouble, binge eating, whatever it is, just keep trying. You will get there. I promise. Just don't give up. The only way you won't is if you give up.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
It's great to see you,
Definitely want to
Kim.
have you back sometime in the future. Until then, God bless you, and looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh my goodness. Listen, if you've been here with me the whole time, then you already know what caliber of women that I've had on the show today. This has been spectacular. I don't have the words, honestly, to really express the gratitude in my heart for what has transpired today. You've received some great information from some really powerful women, and they are going to definitely come back in the future and do a follow-up. Listen, on this coming Thursday, I will have another spectacular guest, and she's going to be talking about your financial future. This is not the episode to miss. I'm telling you, with everything that's going on, she's an equipper. She's mentored millionaires. So please be with us. Stay safe out there with COVID. And just remember that silence creates distance, but conversations with Kim builds the village.